Hola a todos, bienvenidos a Genshin Impact en vivo. Empezamos, estamos por acá. Tenemos que está cumpliendo años, vamos. Aquí mi esposa está cumpliendo años. Chenke, un nuevo plato. No sé por qué, pero últimamente vienen muchos clientes a pedir estofado de perca de lomo negro. Cuando estaba sirviendo un plato vi a un cliente fontán de meter el pescado en agua antes de comérselo. Si alguien no deja de lanzarle miradas y manjar que escucharon como la fuerza del vital hasta que yo no pude contenerme por preguntar si no toleraba el picante. Después le preparé el estofado de perca de lomo negro menos picante y con una sonrisa reante se terminó todo el plato sin dejar prácticamente ni una gota de salsa. Ana estaba menos ocupada, si alguien me preguntó qué quería de regalo comprar, le dije que quería que me enseñara a hacer una versión menos picante del estofado de perca de lomo negro. Así, la próxima vez que venga podré repasárselo como más te guste, o picante o no. Bueno, empecemos con Klee, Klee. Entonces...
Totoko, where are you?
Creo que es jueves. Talentos. Sí, es jueves.
These bombs, so heavy.
Cambiamos.
Branches a song for the everlasting fall. The deception ends here. Divine light, shield them! Like the dust! Receive my... No more lies. It all falls into place.
Three moons converge.
Branches a song with one heart. The sky clear, the glaze will shine! The mystery unravels.
Faltan más.
A moonlit night for all.
Rush as the moon. Time to go clean. Can I the truth?
Con esto tenemos que no quedó. Me falta una más.
Totoko, Totoko, where are you?
Cambiemos. Vamos por los hongos. Wow. Ah, mira.
A chest full of valuables and a trove of potential clues. Yeah.
Ah, espere, me acordé. Necesito.
You can tell me anything.
Y empezamos a farmear. Sí, acá. A saltar entre carros. Ahora vamos a la mano por acá. esquimana, cosas así. Todo este pueblo es un mercado de frutas. ¿Dónde está? ¿Y dónde está? Cambio tan escondido. Es que las semillas de león también cuentan como... Eso se confunde. Todas las áreas recomendadas. Mire. Oh, una anécdota. Aquí esta anécdota de Gami.
A cheap shot.
Por cierto, ya está como está. Arma 90 artefactos allí. Sí. Constelación. ¿Tiene fuera de eso? ¿Tiene una constelación? Tribu extra. Ah, sí, Elemental tiene un montón. Eso sí lo subí. Vamos a ver a Gami. ¿Qué dicen? ¿Qué nos dicen?
it's you! It really is as they say. Watch who you mention in Idle Talk. Never know who might show up. I was just thinking that if you were here, at least there'd be someone here to eat with me. Thanks for the concern, but me? Get robbed on a delivery? I just finished one safe and sound. Come on, we've known each other forever. Don't tell me you're doubting my skills now.
¿Qué estás?
Relax. Smell that aroma?
Wow, ¿qué estás pensando?
You know it. You're in for a treat. It'll be ready in just a minute. The boss from my last delivery runs a farm up in the mountains. There was a happy accident today. He miscounted the supplies. So, he sent me home with the extras. That fowl is really dope. I mean, it's super fresh and the meat is top shelf. There's even spring water from the mountains on our way back. Right place, right time, and I had a feeling that the right people might show up for the trifecta. That's why I decided to make something that I recall as golden tempered jade.
¿Qué se va de oro?
You've tried this dish before?
Ah, no, te lo perdí, no sé nada.
It's not just the name. The taste is out of this world. Actually, I learned this dish from Leon, a helper from back home. He and my mother were from the same town, and he said my mother used to love this dish. That said, I didn't follow his recipe exactly. Tweaked it to suit my own taste, you see? Brought the water to a boil, added a pinch of salt, then let the fresh fowl soak in it for a bit. Not for too long, though. Then I mentally recited full moon egg, crystal shrimp, and honey chasyu, fine tea, full moon, and a bountiful year too. Scooped it right out once done. I had to repeat that step 3 times before placing the fowl into mountain spring water infused with mist flowers. Hot and cold. Ooh, reminds you of a blacksmith tempering metal, huh? Yeah, I think it's a bit of a hassle too, so sometimes I get lazy and skip a few steps. But this is a special occasion. Such dope fowl can't go to waste. You'll see in a moment. Anyway, we're currently at the final trickiest step. That's when we drop the heat as low as we can go and let the fowl poach slowly. All that's left after that is to have some patience. Now that we've said all this, the timing should be just right. Not too early, not too late. Now, don't blink. Golden tempered jade, ready to flame. See, when the surface shines like glazed glass, it means you got the heat just right. It looks amazing, and it tastes even better. Come on, try some. See if you like it. If you do, I'll make it for you again next time. I don't really bother when I'm cooking for myself, but don't worry. I always follow the steps to the letter when I'm cooking for friends.
Ay, mira la receta, por eso.
Full moon egg, crystal shrimp, and honey chasyu. Fine tea, full moon, and a bountiful year too.
These bombs, so heavy.
Es decir, mañana seguir haciendo hongos. Y este. Ah, sí tengo. Necesito 20. ¿Cómo me gasto 20? Para necesito matar al Hichirus este. Matar al Hichirus. No está.
Sweet dreams! Turn that frown upside down.
La estela. Todo.
Gotcha. Into the shadows. Time to testify. These are about to get dicey. Quietly now. Yanchan, Taechan, let's go! Sweet dreams!
Ahí me divertí. Listo, ahora vamos a las recompensas. Necesito
Bombs, so heavy.
4 y 2.
Ad Astra Abyssask. Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward. Ad Astra Abyssask.
Bueno, y ahora. Jefe, me faltan 2, me faltan. Listo, entramos. Esto ya sale rapidito. Aquí ya hice lo importante. Voy a decir todas las misiones legendarias. Hice todas estas también. Y ya hice todos estos. Listo. Pues vamos por el evento.
Time to relax.
Empezar. Comenzamos con los traguitos.
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning. I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddich has prepared. I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonia's annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately.
Capitana.
Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, my duel with Miss Clorinde required a lot of focus and energy. Learning how to turn defense into attack and seize the initiative when facing a combined assault from sword and musket. Even now, I'm still chewing through the details. But in the end, the exchange went well, and both parties learned a great deal. Never mind writing reports from 6 different perspectives. I feel like there's enough worth mentioning to write 24 of the things. Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
Entonces, Ricardo frutas. Agua con gas. Échalo. Triturar. Dar con fuerza. Copa alta de música mediana. Subir nuestras, una bella espiral en el hermoso paisaje del lago siderado bajo el cielo estrellado. Tienen tanto calor como un óxido refrescante porque en el agua también el alcohol deberían tener que ver con su efecto retardado.
One twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Huh, not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite?
¿Quieres algo más intenso?
Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks.
Solo estás pensando cómo mejorarlo.
Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure. That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Maritime flower fruit extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle. Oh, it's a necessary courtesy. In that book Miss Magistus lent me, The Blade Dancer, 20 Years On, it says, after a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clorinde, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice. I had my doubts at first, too. But Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine's cultural heritage. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? When I gave it to her at our post-training banquet, Miss Clorinde really did enjoy this juice. Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin raiders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, Several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm, before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities. Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure, but fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again anytime soon. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh? If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness. In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat.
Es bastante práctico.
You did say sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals way too salty. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, "This food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Liyue's stove god." In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb. You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option.
Mira, esta pantalla prospiraron por mucha intensidad y mantener menos que no haya reparado del todo. Hay recuperar energía de agua, cambiar la fresca engancha todo por lo que queda caliente. Dame la traje exacta fruta para regar, esperar, me regala esta botella. Me encanta el sabor fresco de este jugo de fruta, quizás por regarlo bien para ella. Esta experiencia debe ser bastante memorable, la podría intentar plasmarla en algún forma de la vida. Ella podrá sacar la conversación, a ver qué se me ocurre. Hablas de las escenas que me hacen notas Klee, estas saladas, solo me da el sentido del gusto. Así que lo que piensa mejor es quitarle el estado en la sal. Y darle cuenta que la creación en el borde de la capa de cantidad de sal podría desmayarse en el sitio. Espero que ambas cosas tengan esa opción. Esa es su opinión. Ver que todavía la gente tiene los espíritus de las técnicas que iba a montar fantasmas en caracteres diferentes. Y averiguar qué piensa Eula, voy a hablar de ello.
Oh my. To be honest, before we crossed swords, I was feeling eager, but also a little nervous. Miss Clorinde's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontanian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Clorinde was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Certainly, from my own experiences, Miss Clorinde's abilities more than match those descriptions. Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink. Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. A commemorative cocktail at a time like this sounds nice, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a drink? That definitely matches the description I read in that book.
Pues una idea será como el café, y que burbujantes y mostrar gente que tiene el gusto por dar una boca. Gracias a ella presenta el de frutas.
That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in all of Teyvat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor.
Ay, mi España es diferente, eres como bailarina guiándola, guiando sus primeros los proyectos de forma libre y restricciones. No sé, puedes tratar puertas de alguna avalancha. Es cierto, estilos de hincapié en la fuerza de energía del momento del impacto.
There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius bladework, with a bit of personal flair.
Esto te lo oye como un licor fuerte que golpea con intensidad y con supervivencia que no con el propiedad de otro tiempo que mañana.
Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base. You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence.
Ahora vamos a hacer eso en Gaspar, la canción se va a comprar sobre la cama. Ahora llegó una canción que se envía licor frutas por cada juego. También me voy a ver la restricción de la cosa de vosotros, no sé, su alcance de ostentación. Creo que tengo ese sector de la segunda bebida.
Brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Entonces, agua, fuego. Añadir jugo flor rosmaría. Añadir cacao. Meditar con fuerza. Copa alta, mediana, grande. Maestra grande. Cualquier que no sea la estrella sal. Espada de la marea, una nueva creación preparada especialmente para la basada en el fulgor lunar. La técnica de espada es como una danza comando le calienta el contacto que le golpea con la fuerza de una avalancha y termina de una manera limpia y tangente. Y al formar lo que las bebidas consiguen también prefiere sabores intensos. Para ello el agua fuego, tan puro como el hielo y sin sabores innecesarios, el jugo de flor rosa maría cargado con un profundo simbolismo conmemorativo, el cacao que restaura las energías y alivia el cansancio, se han unido un baile dentro de esta copa. Puesto que se trata de una bebida clara con la técnica de espada caballero de la marea, que normal es espada de la marea.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors! And you even added my romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes. Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think carefully. I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their drink slowly. But I'm sorry. This is just too good to be true. Can you mix me another?
Dame, tú lo que quieras. Y frutas para y se toma con 3 copas de chela.
Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. Whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail. Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep. Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk. By the time I've written up those reports for my exchange with Miss Clorinde, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.
Listo, salimos de una. Vamos a ver, ¿a quién emborrachamos más? Reflexiones costeleras. Ahora vamos a ver quién nos sale. Clorinde.
Suspicion confirmed. While patrolling the area, I was sure I'd sensed a familiar presence, so I came over to take a look. And sure enough, here you are.
Clorinde, siéntate, ahora es muchacho.
If Miss Charlotte were to see you like this, I'm guessing she'd take 100 pictures and write up a report. Sword-wielding traveler's secret side hustle. Exclusive cocktails from Teyvat's Explorer Extraordinaire. You'd make the front pages of every major newspaper. And there'd be crowds of Fontanian tourists flocking to your drink stand, causing gridlock on the streets of Mondstadt. Luckily for you, I turned down Miss Charlotte's request to accompany me here, so you're unlikely to be seeing any scenes like that. Let's quietly celebrate this moment of peace. And on that note, I'd like a caramel blaze. That look on your face tells me you have a lot of questions you want to ask. Calm and effortless. I'm shocked to learn you're a real pro at this sort of thing.
Agua, fuego. Sirope cráneo. Cacao, uy, que sabinaza. Puro azúcar. Mientras dos. Nuestra. Vale, vaya. Epopeya Caramel Ardiente, una de las bebidas más famosas de Mondstadt de los últimos años. Ahora requiere su color intenso, sabor impactante. Se ha hecho alusión a ella en diversas obras culturales extranjeras como el juego Roll Fontaine, las bebidas ligeras de una zona.
Your caramel blaze is ready. Try not to drink it all in one go.
Huh. It sure lives up to its name. The color reminds me of a raging fire, while that aroma really hits you head on. It's quite strong.
¿Quieres más agua?
I'm all right. I just need a little time to get used to it. As I recall, the last time I drank alcohol was at a wine tasting event that Navia invited me to last year. I only had a small sip of Sassica wine, and it was nowhere near as strong as this concoction of yours. From a purely rational perspective, alcohol can cause dizziness and impair one's ability to work, so it's best avoided altogether. But when Miss Farina saw me off at the docks, she mentioned that Mondstadt is the land of wine and poetry. Since I'm here, I thought I should at least try the local specialties. In fact, Captain Eula, whom I sparred with earlier, has quite the refined taste for fine wine. She even gifted me a bottle of Romaritime flower fruit extract, which is no longer produced in Fontaine, and can now only be found overseas. Out of the utmost respect for her skills, I feel compelled to deepen my knowledge of Mondstadt's wines. I truly appreciate all the trouble you're going to. Huh? Does that mean she's already finished her commission? Well, she's certainly efficient. Once I return to Fontaine, perhaps I can let Sijui know that I'd be happy to purchase her latest perfume. I'm not sure I'd say that. On my way to Mondstadt, we happened to take the same boat. Naturally, we got to chatting. I've often heard Sijui praise her work. After conversing with her on the journey over, I must say, she is indeed a rare and refined individual. She's gentle and composed, yet keeps others at a distance. Perhaps it's due to her profession. I find this approach ideal. It allows one to maintain a lasting sense of inner peace. Oh, thank you, but there's really no need to set anything up. Our work rarely intersects, and our social circles hardly make for a Venn diagram, if you know what I mean. Best to just let things take their natural course. When I'm working, I often drink coffee. But with meals, I prefer a lighter tasting drink, like Buell fruit juice. Since I eat a lot of meat, the slight acidity of the juice helps balance out the greasiness. Over time, I've grown accustomed to the sour taste. After the swordsmanship exchange, the Knights of Favonius rather kindly treated me to some traditional Mondstadt cuisine. I had 8 different meat dishes, and all of them were excellent. The portions were huge, and only the highest quality cuts were used. Everything was cooked to absolute perfection. Of course, there was still room for improvement. When catering to tourists, the sticky honey roast and pile 'em up might benefit from a slightly lighter sauce. I've certainly tried all the red meat dishes. I think I've had enough calories to sustain 3 days of vigorous work, so I've had to decline all subsequent dining invitations. To be honest, I can still taste the grease. There must be a way to cleanse my palate. I've seen a little. I took a stroll around the city the first day I got here. Navia's done some rather extensive research on this place. Many of the scenes and illustrations for the tabletop troupe were inspired by views of Mondstadt. However, the way she describes the atmosphere in her world building is quite different from the real Mondstadt. The deepest impression I've got since arriving here is one of swords and shields. Perhaps because I've mostly just visited the blacksmith and the training grounds. Recently, The newer weapons and armor produced in Mondstadt have been created using a completely different heat treatment process from those in Fontaine, with a higher carbon content in the surface layer. While this has slightly reduced their overall toughness, their impact resistance has greatly improved. These newer weapons give off a smell like overbrewed coffee. Perhaps it's because that scent gave me such a positive first impression. You see, Fontaine's signature metalwork is often coated with a protective agent that contains Marcotte. Over time, the faint fragrance becomes overly sweet. And for some reason, it makes my teeth feel funny. I don't imagine the scent of Mondstadt's swords and shields would cause the same level of irritation. Of course, there is a solution to this problem. The next time you find yourself in Fontaine, there's another protective agent I can recommend. One that's as neutral as water, without any excess fragrance. If you also dislike being bombarded with sweetness, this protective agent should suit you well. Indeed it is. The knights codenamed Hazelnut 3 and Hazelnut 5 gave me this crest. I must say, it's exquisite. They told me the design has only just been finalized. Apparently it's only presented to important guests. They said they're making a badge for you too, but it hasn't been finished yet. You're not wrong. I guess it's similar to how I can't remember the name of every clerk in the Palais Mermonia, but I'm certain you'll get to know them in time. They're clearly seasoned veterans. Even though they work desk jobs, they still turn up in full armor. After handling my affairs, they headed to the tavern for a gathering, saying they wanted to continue last night's duel and determine who had the highest alcohol tolerance. Drinking barrels of beer the night before, yet being able to work with clear minds the next day. So what you're saying is, while Mondstadters may seem carefree, they actually have an admirable ability to know their limits when it comes to drinking.
Parece que por los ahora ligeran de asios. Ahora tengo que hacer mientras que el que no sabía contar dulce. Creo que mejor usar ese último. Y tiene un recuerdo que los que reclaman a Clorinde. Clorinde no suele beber alcohol, pero respeta a sus oponentes Mondstadt. Debe hacer el esfuerzo de probarlo. Ahora beber alcohol no queda las proporciones adecuadas. La papaya que caramelo dentro no era demasiado grande. Mejor optar por una copa pequeña. Parece que Clorinde cae muy bien a Millie. Ambas tienen gustos similares al cuidado de Rivera. Podría ser de alguna que parezca adecuada. ¿Por qué debe hacer? ¿Para qué más conocemos? ¿Para qué más conocemos? Vas a elegir al mío, que son seres ligeros. No son un tema más ligero. Quizás debería preguntar con el que le gusta algo así.
Are you already planning the details of our hypothetical get-together? Based on my previous experiences with alcohol, I guess my tolerance is similar to Emily's. Fruit liqueur is probably my limit. So when the time comes, I think you'd be best off mixing similar drinks for the both of us.
Acepta licor de frutas. Pase por el pero no sigue siendo demasiado fuerte. Me la voy a por el licor de frutas, pero ya está. Pase como los otros para un momento.
All right. I'll make sure I'm mentally prepared. Even if it's still a bit strong, I'll do my best to finish it.
Licor de frutas, sirope de caramelo, el gancho de lobo. Estrellas, algo. El lámpago es una nueva creación para Clorinde basada en la epopeya del caramelo ardiente. En la verduga, el obstinado velos como el raro viejito Mondstadt sigue siendo las impresiones de un juego de rol. Demuestra una aguda sensible hacia los aromas metálicos y una preferencia por los toques salados, en las que suelen preferir tienden a ser ligeramente ácidas y quitan la sensación de empacho. Aunque el recurrente equilibrar ambas cosas se nota un deseo, pero tú que has trabajado en la taberna del obsequio blanco y en el buque insignia eres perfectamente capaz de controlar con precisión la proporción de cada ingrediente. Clorinde disfruta de un viaje relajado de Mondstadt, llevar a la estrella relámpago es flipante.
Alright, this new creation is called Leisure Time Lightning, a cocktail made exclusively for champion duelists. Enjoy!
Have you added fruit wine? It tastes wonderful. This is ideal for me. There's a subtle saltiness that combines well with the tartness of the fruit and the sweetness of the caramel. Each sip balances delicately on the edge of perfection. The color of the wine also fits well with the name, and the lightning imagery contrasts with the fiery nature of the caramel glaze. But where does the leisure time part come in? I see. That certainly matches the impression this cocktail gives me. Its unique aroma and taste will hold a special place in my memories of Mondstadt. Do you think, if the chance were to present itself, you'd be interested in mixing drinks somewhere else? A cafe, for instance, or the Hotel de Boer? Mostly for Navia and Miss Farina's sake. Though obviously I'd be more than happy to try more of your masterpieces myself.
No hay problema, que todo el mundo pruebe mis pedas.
I understand. I won't try to strong-arm you. In any case, I truly appreciate your hospitality. Thanks to you, whether I'm summarizing the key lessons from my exchange with Miss Eula, or discussing strategy with the Knights of Favonius, I'll be in my best condition.
Reflexiones pasteleras. ¡Tarán! ¿Listo?
These bombs, so heavy!
Bueno, tengo la acá por hoy. Gracias a todos por vernos. Nos vemos mañana.